Serious, and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo.
American honor don't lack no soldiers. In the spirit of the Lord, we don't lack no soldiers.
The same, black, Hispanic, native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ in they image, hate you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in a cell toilet connected to the sink. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dreams. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lies sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under YAHANNA, ain't me murdered by them and got a hug from YAHANNA. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game, put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí. Lord Commander General YAHANNA, I.S.U.P.K. This is what Commander General YAHANNA did. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge.
Serious, and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo.
American honor don't lack no soldiers. In the spirit of the Lord, we don't lack no soldiers.
The same, black, Hispanic, native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ in they image, hate you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in a cell toilet connected saint. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one west. They're one west. They're one west.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatam to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemala Than Hashem Yahushua to all the sisters. I'm Priest Nafsir 500 Barak Yalla with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, taught out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General YAHANNA. You understand? And every Thursday evening we have the Brotherhood class, right? We're live on I.S.U.P.K Montreal, Toronto, IT in Boston on YouTube, I.S.U.P.K Canada, and Montreal on Facebook. Make sure you like, share, you understand, subscribe, ask your questions, comment, boost the algorithm. It is nothing more important in these days that we're in these times that we're in these perilous times that are only about to get worse. Ain't nothing more important than to know the truth, than to be in the truth. You understand? We in the last days, and listen, it's already ugly out here. It's only about to get uglier, right? Bear with me 1 second, Baba Kusha. Like you have to plug in the laptop, but make sure y'all tune into these classes. We got classes them here every day of the week. There's no excuse for you to not tune into these classes. If you miss it because our precious the goddamn devil, the Bible speaks of, you're slaving, right, or whatever's going on, do you have no excuse to not be able to rewatch the class? They're online. You understand? So go ahead, make sure you click on the sign in and sign out links in the class as well. We're also live on Barak Yalla UPK on Beagle, on the Beagle app, right? And we have, listen, this is probably a 3-part class. I ain't gonna hold you. Why? Because it's a heavy topic that we have to discuss, that we don't discuss enough in our community. Our community are facing a lot of issues. I don't say is facing a lot of issues because the Black, the Latino, and the Native community, we're one and same people. We think we're different because of the indoctrination that we receive at the end of our oppressors. That's why. Really, we're one and same people. That's the most important part. Knowing who we are. Your identity. You understand? That's the most important part. And that's so important to know these days because knowing you're an Israelite, just like the Arab knows he's an Arab, he has a code to adhere to. He has a custom to adhere to. You understand? The Asians have a custom to adhere to because they know who they are. They know what their custom is. The East Indian, the same thing. The white man, I mean, you could say that too. His culture is thieving cultures, right? But we don't know who we are. Therefore, we adopt we adopt a melting pot of cultures because we don't know who we are. We think we don't have the recipe, you understand, to feed our people. Well, we have the recipe. We have the only good recipe book on the planet to feed our people. We have the only blueprint, the only correct blueprint to have a solid foundation when it comes to building our community, building our people. Build the only strong foundation to build the world, which is the Bible. Because someone stole or appropriated themselves the blueprint and is not reading as it is according to plan, we think that blueprint don't belong to us, but the Bible belongs to us. The Bible is the blueprint for so-called Blacks, Latino, and Native American Indians, and nobody else. The real biblical Jews of antiquity. You understand? And before we dive into this topic, let's understand the reason why we're so destroyed, right? Let's go into the book of let's go into the book of Deuteronomy, right? And then we'll address how we could solve a lot of the issues that we're facing. And everything is right here. The solution is in the Bible. The Bible, which is not a religious book, it is the record of a people. What do you want to call it? A record, a scroll, a manuscript? That's what the Bible is. But it belongs to a race of people, not for everybody. You understand? Let's go into the book of Deuteronomy real quick. Yeah, a couple of verses. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Understand how we're not prosperous today. I'll start at verse 1. If you have any questions, comments, of course, y'all put it in the chat on the platform that you're tuning in from. Right? Ask all your questions, put in all your comments. Push this truth. That's the most important part. It's like it. Bear with me 1 second. Technical difficulties. You know, our oppressor is the devil. There you go. Let me share my screen. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it reads, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth." This is the premise, right? So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native have rules to abide by, that they haven't been doing so. No, it is the total opposite of that for the longest time, which is why we're in the condition that we're in today. Because if it was for us abiding by these rules, we would be in rulership. We would be above all nations. You understand? But we decided to do the opposite. Why? Because we wanted to be like the cool kids. We wanted to be like everybody else. We wanted to be accepted by everybody. Therefore, we did all manners of sin. We accepted all types of lifestyle that we should have never have. You understand? Let's jump down to verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 says, "But it shall come to pass." Meaning, here's what happened if you obey, but here's what happened if you disobey. "It shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day." Meaning, if we do the opposite than what was said in verse 1 on down to verse 14. If we do the opposite and we disobey, I don't even know how I have to explain this simple concept, right? Because if you are a parent, and if you have children, nieces, nephews, if they obey, they get rewarded. If they disobey, they get punished. It's that simple. You understand? "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." We'll be cursed. We won't be blessed. We'll do the opposite. We'll be punished. Why? Because we decided to disobey. That's why. It's as simple as that. You know, ain't no equation on figuring out why did God do this? Why are we in the condition that we're in? This is why. This is why we're in the condition that we're in. You know, it's not no quantum physics equation. We're in the condition that we're in because we're cursed, because we're being punished for disobeying. Obedience equals reward. Disobedience equals punishment. What the Bible called judgment and curses. You understand? Now let's drop down real quick. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. And then we're going to see some of the things that we're going through today, right? And how to solve a lot of the problems that we're in. Because the class is called Problem Solvers, right? Let's go into it. Give me 1 moment. I'm having little technical difficulties. Salakia. Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. "Envy thou not the oppressor." We should not want what our oppressor has. We should not want it. When we envy him, we're going to look at how he got the things that he got. Whether it's his riches, his wealth, his women, his success. And then what we're going to do? The opposite of what Proverbs 3 and 31 says. It says again, Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You want to know why you are a criminal? Because you see, the oppressor is able to live a lavish lifestyle and succeed by being a criminal. Everything an oppressor has is because he's a criminal, he's a thief, he's oppressing us. So you think you're going to be able to do the same? Not by oppressing other people. No, of course not. But you're going to oppress yourselves, just like he's oppressing you, because that's how he got his wealth. You're going to steal like he steals, because that's how he got his riches. You're going to love prostitutes like he loves prostitutes, because that's how he got his women. Our women are going to become prostitutes like their women are prostitutes, because that's how they get a man. You understand? Our family structure is destroyed. Why? Because we take after our oppressor's way of life. That's why. We decide to imitate them. That's why. When really, when it comes down to it, our oppressor is a disgusting, filthy animal. A pig might not be as dirty as our oppressor, the white man, who's the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? And that's the truth. That's a fact. Like, what we have to bring this all the time, like the feminism movement was about, not about empowering women, right? The feminism movement was about white women wanting to be the whore that their white husband loved to make love to. Now, if they become what their white husband desire, then they're going to be able to be desired by their white husbands. But they couldn't push the message of being a proud whore that wants to be desired by her white husband. Therefore, they made up a whole movement about women empowerment. Then you had the slut walk. And then you had the stop slut shaming. And then what else? What other movement you had today? The whole phase, or what they call it. They think that we are the images of these promiscuous lifestyle. We're not. We're used as mascots. Really, who's pulling all the strings? Our oppressor, who's the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. That's who. You understand? It's Salakia. Now let's look into some of the issues that we're facing, because the class is called Problem Solvers. How do you solve problems? The first step is to abandon the lifestyle and culture of your oppressor. Whatever we go through in life, whether it's issues with brothers towards another brother, a sister towards another sister, a woman towards her man, or man towards the woman, it's all the same. We are dysfunctional because we imitate our oppressor. That's why we're so dysfunctional. Now, how do we fix these issues? You understand? How do we do that? It's simple. You come to class and you change yourself. You become a new person. You have to learn how to do these things. Just like everything is learned behavior. You learn how to disobey the Lord. How? By imitating the other nations. You took on their custom. You understand? That's why Moses gave y'all a bill of divorce coming out of Egypt, because y'all was still acting like the Egyptians. Y'all was still, you just literally came out of slavery. Y'all did not know how to act. None of this generation that came out of Egypt made it to the land with Joshua. None. It's their children, their offspring. Because those who came out of Egypt, guess what? They were still having that Egyptian influence. Moses, they have no time for y'all. Moses said, he's leading you out of the wilderness. You understand? There's heathens left and right to us. You don't have time to argue with. He didn't have time to give no counsel to nobody. Matter of fact, we're gonna go real quick to Matthew, chapter 19. Matthew chapter 19, verse 1 to 10, because this is one of the heaviest issues that we're facing in our community, right? Broken homes. Why? Because y'all still acting like your oppressor. You understand? You think you have the same right that a white woman has to call the police on her husband. But what happens is that the white woman only wants attention to be sexually liberated. And she taught you that you be part of the feminism movement just to empower your womanhood. Now you became a monster. Now, matter of fact, we're going to get Matthew 19 and also, what is it again? Proverbs. What is it again? What's the precept in Proverbs again? Bear with me 1 second. Proverbs, bear with me 1 second. Yeah, I know the precept, but I always forget. There you go. Proverbs 14:1. Let's go there. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 1, right? Hey, Shalom, Yahweh, Shemala, Thaba, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Any questions, y'all put it in the chat. YouTube, Facebook, Beagle. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman builded her house. Now, what is wisdom? That's the question, because y'all think y'all wise because, you know, y'all scheming. And what's the song from Young Miami? The scamming niggas, where my scamming niggas at, and scamming whores and get a Goyard bag. I just heard it today. I didn't even know who it was that was singing this. I heard it. Listen, I don't be tuning into music like that these days, but the point is this, right? Y'all think y'all cunning, you know. You think you're smart. Why? Because you got, what you call it, a side nigga or something like that. Whatever dumb stuff people say these days, right? Y'all think y'all smart. Y'all are too smart for your own good. In the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 22, it says, let the fool say that they're wise. Y'all don't even know what wisdom is. Wisdom is following the law. This is the knowledge and wisdom that we have as a nation. The Bible. Following the law and statutes, commandments. You understand? This is our wisdom. Not how cunningly scheming you became just by following a white woman. That same white woman that had you leave your man, that had you destroy your household, guess what? She voted for Trump. She voted for the most misogynist, one of the most misogynistic presidents, talking about protect womanhood, that had you enrolled in the feminism movement. She voted for Donald Trump, who said, grab him by the box. She voted for Donald Trump, who is a sex offender, and he's on the Epstein list. That same white woman that had you enroll in the feminism movement, she voted for a misogynistic sexual abuser that it was on the Epstein's island. You have been deprived of wisdom. That's what the Bible said. A foolish woman is clamorous. What is it? You know, she knoweth nothing. You have been deprived of wisdom. That's why you don't know nothing. They took the wisdom away from you. Now to teach you, if you want to be successful in life, have an abortion. Have as many abortions as you want. Why? Because you need to have a career. Meanwhile, Donald Trump came in office. You understand? You know what he did? He fired, 100,000 black women? Now, ask yourself, how many of these 100,000 black women got an abortion because of the indoctrination of white people telling them you're never going to be successful in life if you don't focus on your career, so get that abortion. Imagine that. That success was thrown out the window expeditiously. Let's get back to the precept. Proverbs 14:1. Every wise woman builded her house, but the foolish plucked it down with her hands. You were made in condition to destroy your own house. Why? Because you have been deprived of wisdom. The wisdom was taken away from you. Why? How? Because they took the man out of the house. That's how. You understand? That's how. Listen, what happened in the Garden of Eden is the same thing that happens today. You know, you're easy to be beguiled, and the snake, our oppressor, the devil the Bible speaks of, beguiled you into destroying your family. He don't have to do it. Like in slavery, he had to physically separate families. He don't have to do it no more. He's just telling the black woman, yo, leave that black man. You don't need him. If you leave him, we'll give you a check. We'll give you welfare. We'll give you subsidies. We'll give you all type of benefits. Just leave the black man. Make him miserable. You understand? Be the dragon that you could have never been if you would have never been around heathens. Just be that. That's what the white man told you to do. That's how you were deprived of wisdom even more. Because where you would get your wisdom from? Where did Eve get the wisdom from? That's the question. Where would Eve get her wisdom from? She would get it from Adam. You understand? And Adam would pass down the wisdom to the woman, and the woman would pass down the wisdom to the kids. But what happened? The wisdom is gone. If the black man is not incarcerated, he became a homosexual, or you were conditioned to throw the black man out the house. When I mean black, I mean black, Latino, and Native, of course. You know, where are these men to provide the wisdom to their family, to their women? Where are they? There's an attack on black, Latinos, and Native. We are, you see endangered species on that National Geographics. We should be on that list. We should be number one on that list. Number one. They are trying time after time to exterminate us. It just doesn't work. But there's an active attack on so-called blacks, Latinos, and Natives. And they know what to do. I know I said let's go to Matthew 19, but let's go real quick to Matthew chapter because that's how women were deprived of wisdom today. That's how they're doing it. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12, verse 29. All right. Again, any questions, comments, dislikes, just make sure y'all share the class. You know, push the truth everywhere. Matthew chapter 12, verse 29. Matthew chapter 12, verse 29 says, or else how can one enter into a strong man's house? How could our family structure be destroyed? There's a strong man in the building. Listen, where are the strong men? Where is the protection? You understand? Like you see what it says, a man that getteth a wife beginneth a possession where there's no hedge, the possession is spoiled. Spoiled is being robbed, is being ravished, is being, you know, you're gone. Spoils of war is what is like the there's another word besides booty, like the which you get from the war, right? But how can you enter a strong man's house and spoil his goods? How could you ravish everything that strong man is protecting, that has value to his eyes, like his woman, like his children, which is the most valuable thing into a strong man's house? Listen, your family is worth more than your TV. Take the TV, you know. Take any item that is probably insured or not. Who cares? Touch my family, good night. This is a whole different thing, you know. Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man? You know what they used to do during slavery? They physically separated families. They would take a man, a native man from Canada, they ship it to the French colonies in the Caribbean. It takes people from the Caribbean, they send them to the mainland in the Americas, whether it's North, Central, and South America. They shipped a bunch of us to Europe, right? That's how they physically separated families. They had to put hands on us. But our oppressor, being such a cunning hunter, our oppressor being cunning, devised a plan that, you know what? Why do all the dirty work and get our hands dirty? You understand? They came out with the plan that you would never think of. You see how they said divide and conquer? They said, let's really, what they did to us is damn near genius. They said, let's make them believe we all going to unite, right? For lack of better words, which is what they call integration. They're going to enter into our house thinking they're going to be at peace. We're going to share the same house, the same space. That's what it made us believe. But that was all a trap. First of all, integration to integrate means to go into, right? You go into their house. What do you do when you go into someone's house? You have to abide by their rules. Salakia. You understand? That's the first mistake, because now our rules have to stay out the door. We have to abide by the rules of the people we integrate with. It's that simple. That's why it's called assimilation. It's another word for assimilation. But now, what was the crafty plan they did? Again, they used feminism. You know, they used all sorts of plans just to destroy the black family and empower our women. They emasculated the black man. They're not doing it physically no more. They did it spiritually. They emasculated you. They put an image of the black man into our woman's mind. They told our woman, you don't need a man. You don't. They made it so like there is no father figure to give wisdom, which is the foundation of a strong household, the foundation of a strong community when it comes to us, right? That wisdom which is in the Bible. They made it so that we don't have that no more. What do we have? Fatherless homes, which are raised by emotional women who will raise emotional men. Really emotional boys. These boys are going to grow up to be emotional grown boys, not men. You understand? Not men. And that's the problem, because now there is no proper role model that we have to be that strong man that's able to protect his goods into his house. There is nothing like that. What do we have? We have these half sodomites that joined the military. You understand? We have the what you call it again? The fraternity guys. What else do we have? I don't know. Name it. We have what? The criminals who end up in jail. Then they probably never get out. Now it's another generation of men that we lost. Why? Because they lacked guidance. Now the next generation as well will lack guidance. And it's a never-ending vicious cycle. That's the problem. They figured how to remove the man who will be the foundation of that wisdom. Because this, again, Adam got wisdom from the Lord and he passed it on to his wife. The man will get the wisdom to teach the wife so she can let the kids know, hey, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. You understand? But it always comes from the man. You remove the man out of the equation, now it's easier. It's easier to infiltrate the community. Just remove the man out of the equation. Just like Commander YAHANNA said, you know, we don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house. And again, black, Latinos, and Native are the same people. That's what we say. We need a black man in every black house. It's that simple. You know, it's just as easy as that. But they figured it out from a long time. They know our records. They know how, what is it? What did the Egyptians say again? They know how to deal with us. Let me see how the Egyptians said it. Salakia. This in Exodus, is it 11 or is it verse 1? I think it's Exodus 1 and 11. Verse 10. It says, they dealt wisely with us. That's what they did. Just like the Egyptians, It's like every nation that had us captive, they just dealt wisely with us. But as being the most cunning nation on the planet, that's how wisely they dealt with us. You know, it was not just about us serving them. They utterly destroyed us. The Bible says that at the hands of these oppressors, which is our last captivity, sidebar, right? It says that we are at the hands of the worst of the worst of the heathens. When we tell you we're being oppressed by the Africans, the East Indians, the Chinese, but the white man, the devil the Bible speaks of, is the worst of them all. Let me get you that precept real quick. It's Ezekiel 7:24, and then we'll get back to it, right? Go to Ezekiel. That's 7:24. Bear me 1 second. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, verse 24. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. You think that a sub-Saharan slave trade was bad? Oh, it was bad. When we were under the Babylonian, it was bad. Yes, it was. Under the Persians, you know, under who else? The Assyrians, the Egyptians. Yes, it was horrible. The Greeks and the Romans, they're white people too. It was horrible. But this, listen, everything that we suffered under the transatlantic slave trade in America and Canada, throughout the Americas, the Caribbean, that's what's called the rebirth, right? The Renaissance is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. They did the same thing they were doing during the Roman Empire, you know, quartering us, you know, hanging us, decapitating us, cutting limbs, all the deviancy they did to our men, women, or children. They did that during the Roman Empire. They copied everything, all those ways of torturing us. They developed that during the Greco-Roman Empire. You know, this is the worst of the heathens that is our captors right now. You understand? Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Let's keep reading. Verse 25, destruction cometh. They shall seek peace, and there shall be none. You know, since when? Listen, I'm from Martinique, man. We're shocked today. There was a verdict, right? And then we'll get back to the precept. It was a verdict about the poisoning that friends did in Guadeloupe and Martinique. People are shocked that it came out that, you know, it's a non-lieu, meaning they're not gonna render judgment. I forgot what's the English term from it. They're not gonna render judgment on the matter. They're not. They don't want to hold themselves accountable, and we're shocked. Why would we be shocked? Why would we be shocked? The Black Code was still in effect officially until May 28th, 2026. That same official decree from the King of France, Louis XIV, that said that Black people are nothing more than property to white people, was still in effect. It was never abolished until May 28th, 2026. So why are we still in shock that we don't get justice? Why are we still in shock that we're still at war? Why are we still in shock that, you know, we can't get a rest, we can't get peace? We're still slaves on paper. Why are we shocked? They're giving you your identity. They're literally giving you your identity, your passport, your ID card. ID stands for identity. They're giving that to you. Do you think you don't belong to them? You think you're not a slave? They're giving you an identity, literally. Why are you shocked that you're being treated the same way you're being treated right now? Because you're not in the truth. That's why. Christ said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's the problem. You don't know the truth. That's why we're in these classes, to teach you, men, women, and children, the truth, that you still are a slave. Matter of fact, you are the real biblical Jews of antiquity, the 12 tribes, the real biblical Israelites. And our oppressor is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Hey, shalom, 0 day, Yabba Shashrakata. Whoever for tuning in, that's Officer Shy1, I.S.U.P.K, Windsor, Yabasha Shabrakatah, whoever for tuning in, I don't want, right? And that's the problem. It's not even about being a comfortable slave. You don't even know you're a slave. What is it? Harriet Tubman says she would have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves. But you don't know you're a slave. The first thing to know is to see how oppressed you are. That's why, Salaki, I know I'm being long-winded, right? But we're doing a 3-part class anyways. That's why when it comes to slave movies, I know for a fact, listen, I have a bunch of documents that will show you how sugar-coated these movies are. But why I like these movies is always like a harsh reminder to let us know we're still slaves. Whether it's these movies they try to portray from the chattel slavery to movies like the 13th Amendment, movies in Brazil, I forgot what's the name of the movie I could find on Netflix, to movies like how to show the level of oppression that we're under. Nothing really changed. They were just more crafty with it. They're still destroying our families. They're still literally lynching us till this day, and they're probably racist. What has changed? These movies is just a reminder that we're still slaves. That really never changed. And it's so important to know who we are because we don't know who we are, we adhere by the identity that we are given. So why would you think you're a slave if you're part of America? If you're part of Canada? You think they give you that smoke mirror that you are as equal as the white Canadian, as the white British, as the white French, as the white American. Where is your privilege? You don't get equal. The white man don't get equally lynched as you do. There's so many missing, murdered indigenous women. There is no missing, murdered white woman. I mean, they may call it an Amber Alert, but that's just to show that they're only focused on their people. When our people are disappearing at a higher rate than them, they have suicide lines. Suicide lines were not created for you. They were created for them. But our people have the highest rate of suicides. All these researches when it comes to cancer and all these diseases, it is not for you. If it was for you, it would not exist. How do we know? Because black men was in Tuskegee, the Tuskegee experiment. People think, they infected black men with syphilis. No, they already had syphilis. They just didn't give them the cure to see how it would evolve in black men. That's it. The cure and the treatment was there. You just didn't give it to black men. The treatment was never for black men. The treatment was never for Latino men. The treatment was never for Native men and women. No, it was for them. They got the treatment. You didn't. You understand? These abortion clinics, even though there are a people that just hate life, that's why they want abortions. But these abortion clinics were made for you. Everything that takes life is for you. It's for the purpose of erasing your people. You understand? That's what you need to understand. And when you realize that, you'll be like, yo, what is the purpose of erasing us if we're all equal? What danger are we posing to them when they enslaved us? We built everything for them. We're so complacent. Like, we will hurt each other more than we will ever hurt them. Nah, we don't condone violence. But just saying, they make it seem that we're more a danger to ourselves than we're a danger to them, which we are for the sole reason that we follow after them. And if we follow after them, we become a danger to ourselves. That means that they are a danger to us. Maybe if we stop following after them, will we still be a danger to ourselves? Ask yourself that question. You understand? Now let's get back to it, right? Because again, it was a crafty way to destroy our family. Just like Eve was beguiled by the serpent, despite her having the wisdom that she got from Adam, that he got from the Most High. Guess what happened today? That's how our family is destroyed. Adam, the man that has the wisdom, is being taken out of the equation. Now oppressor is able to sweep in and beguile our woman like the serpent beguiled Eve. And that's why it says, let's go back to Proverbs 14:1. Every wise woman buildeth her house. Our women have been deprived of wisdom because wisdom has been taken from the equation. That's why wisdom is not there no more. The man is not here. That's why it's so important for y'all sisters. Listen, y'all sisters are not married. Come into the UPK, get you a husband that has wisdom. If not, bring your husband to the school so he could get the wisdom that you need. You understand? Because our houses are destroyed. Why? For lack of wisdom, man. This is what? All the wisdom and knowledge that this Bible has for us. You understand? But the foolish pluck it down with her hands. Why? Because now she thinks she's an independent woman. Have you heard? Listen, men are not even independent. If you have a job, nobody is independent. You're not. I don't care if you have a job or if you don't have a job, you're not independent. Even if you're homeless, you're not independent. Listen, if all you need is oxygen, you are not independent. The white man is poisoning the air. You depend on him not poisoning the air in order for you to have good oxygen. You're stupid. You're not independent. You're stupid and, lacking knowledge. That's what you are. Who is independent? You understand? Even if you have your own business, you're not independent. You depend on your clients. You depend on resources. Everybody's dependent on something. You see, the problem is that they made you think you need to be independent. Independent is you kicking your man out, and then you do whatever the hell you want. You are dependent on the indoctrination that you got from the oppressor to even be at this level that you are right now. Imagine that. There is no such thing as being independent. And that's the sad part. Because you lack wisdom, you will destroy your house. And wisdom is only found in the Bible. And just like Eve should have listened to her man, you need to listen to your head. The man that's in charge of you, whether it's your father, your husband, your camp leader. That's what you should do. Now that same man beguiled you into telling you that you have to leave your man, when according to wisdom, it is absolutely unauthorized, unlawful. It is a no. You cannot do such thing to leave your man. You can't. Let's go to Matthew chapter 19, verse 1. Because this is how they help, going back to what we were saying earlier. Because we follow after our oppressors still, this is why we can't stay together. Because we follow the ways of our oppressor on how to address conflicts. You understand? The white woman is a slut. And our women want to be like the white woman. The white woman leaves her man for whatever reason. She tells our woman, you should leave him. That's what she said. She said, you should leave him. He has another wife, leave him. You understand? While that same white woman that tells you to not listen to men voted for a sexual deviant that was on the Epstein's Island, who's an openly racist man that said, grab him by the box. That's who she voted for. Let's get it. Matthew chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass, just for context, right? And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea. Verse 2. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. Meaning what? That's when Christ was performing miracles, and there's a crowd following him, and he keeps on performing all types of miracles, right? Matthew 19, verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, which is what you Christian unintelligent people or those who don't know the Bible do every day with the UPK. They come and challenge us. Is Jesus God? It says Mary was a virgin. I mean that she never had sex. What else do they say? Apparently the law was done away with. The same thing your fake Israelites do, the same thing you Christian pastors do, you Muslims and everything do. The Pharisees were doing the same thing in the time of Christ. The Bible says there is nothing new under the sun. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Why are they asking this? Right? They're trying to test Christ to see, yo, let's catch him slipping. Now, in the times of Moses, which they knew about, they're saying, yo, Moses had a bill of divorce, so can I just have sex with this woman and she pissed me off? I just throw her away. A lot of y'all like to do that. A lot of y'all will have sex with a whore, right? Just so that she does something or go whores on you, and you say, well, or she don't even whore on you. She's gonna do something and leave. Or maybe you're gonna do something, she's gonna leave. You say, well, she was just a whore anyways. Yeah, but you picked a whore. And that's sad to say, because a lot of these sisters are destroyed, and what they needed is to be fixed. You took some, as opposed to fixing her, you just trying to destroy her even more and not even care. That's why a lot of y'all like doing this, because now you're gonna say, well, she's a whore, therefore she has to be held accountable, not me. Oh, you absolutely will have to be held accountable, because you know exactly what you're doing. You understand? Let's keep reading. Verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? Verse 5. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife. The word cleave in this context mean he's attaching himself to his wife. Listen, that's how you one body. When you penetrate that woman, y'all bodies are literally together. What do you mean? And they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore, verse 6, wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. Twain is like, imagine a braid or a cordage that you could do and undo, right? Imagine that. Now, when a man is together with a woman, when there are no more twain, that cannot be undone. That's how you know. Listen, sex is marriage, that's forever. That cannot be undone. They are now one flesh. You understand? They're together. They have to be on one accord. What therefore God had joined together, let no man put asunder. What? This man, trying to trick Christ, saying, yo, so can a man throw out his woman? Can the household be broken? Can we just do whatever we want and be free? Christ said, no, man. Once you lay with her, she's yours for life. Once you lay with him, sis, that's your husband for life, till death. There is nothing that's supposed to put you asunder, meaning to separate you, right? Now, here's the part where they try to trick him. Verse 7, they say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? You see, a person told you could leave your man. The Bible says only the man could throw you away, first of all. Then again, is going to say that you really can't for any reason. Shalom Yahushua, right? It says, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and put her away? Exactly what we're talking about. Why? Because of the condition that we're in today, which is the same condition that we were in coming out of Egypt. Matthew chapter 19, verse 8. And he said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. Now let's see, what does it mean, the hardness of your hearts? Let's get that real quick, right? Let's probably break these scriptures down. Let's see, what is the hardness of your hearts? We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 19. Let me pull up the Blue Letter Bible. Let's go into the Strong Concordance, right? Let me share my screen. Salakia. Bear with me 1 second. Matthew chapter 19, verse 8. It's like you're having slight technical difficulties. The hardness of your hearts, right? This is the Greek word for hardness. Salaki, damn, pause. It says sclerocardia, right? Sclerocardia from two words, sclero and cardia. Which want to see what are these words about? Hardness of heart, sclerocardia, right? From the word scleros, meaning what? Hard or fierce. It's not talking about your heart that's in your cavity, in your chest cavity. You understand? It's talking about your spirit, how you deal with one another. Y'all were mean to one another. That's what it's talking about. Y'all trying to kill one another. That's what it's talking about. You know, she's arguing with you all the time. She's a goddamn monster. And he probably broke your jaw. That's the hardness of the heart it's talking about. Y'all are not kind to one another. Y'all don't know how to resolve the conflict. You understand? That's what it means when it says, Moses, for the hardness of your hearts. Every time we break this down, there's always a lustful bastard who loves whores that says, no, that's not what it means. Well, look into the Greek, scleros cardia, from scleros and cardia. Cardia talking about your heart, meaning your mind, your spirit, how you operate. Scleros, because you have, like it says, you have a heart of stone, or you're cold-hearted. Your heart is not literally 0 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Fahrenheit. It's all about being fierce, being mean, being unkind. That's what it's talking about. You understand? And that's how you were coming out of Egypt. That's what it says. He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. Moses didn't have time to argue with every single couple. Listen, there's a multitude of people to argue with, to counsel. Moses had to lead us out of the wilderness. The Lord just dealt with the Egyptians unaliving everybody. First he brought all the plagues. Then he unalived the firstborns. Then he made them drown. They're still pursuing us. Then we had to deal with the heathens before we had all the wars with Joshua. Then Moses had us complain in the wilderness. We're starving. We want water. Or Moses went in Mount Sinai. We started worshiping the gold calf. 3,000 people had to die. Imagine that. You know how much Moses had to deal with? He said, yo, you know what? She put a knife to your throat. I ain't got time to counsel you. Just don't kill her. Just give her a bill of divorcement. That's it. That's it. She don't know how to cook well. She pissing you off. Bill of divorcement. That's what Moses did. Moses didn't have time to counsel y'all. Like, listen, today, imagine that. Y'all are so spoiled today. Y'all got camp leaders. Y'all got Jedi Mahaiman. Y'all got everybody to call. And y'all still find ways to not make it work. Moses didn't have time for that. No, that's why y'all so important for y'all to tune into these classes. I ain't got no excuses. We have the blueprint to make it work. We have all these examples to make it work. Moses literally is dealing with a people that just literally came out of bondage, imagine coming out of slavery right now from under the white man, being pursued by white people, Arabs, and everything. And Moses is dealing with that. I'm gonna say, no, man, just let it go. She can't remarry though. You're gonna be single, sis. Just know that. Just let her go though. Don't kill her. We're trying to save lives. Not trying to take them. We're trying to save our people. We're trying to build a nation, not destroy it. Until we get to the land, just separate. Leave her alone, man. Shalom. Lord be with you. It says, for the hardness of your hearts, meaning y'all were mean to one another. Y'all probably trying to break each other's face with rocks or whatever you had in the wilderness. Who knows? Who cares, right? But that's the only reason that that's the only reason that Moses said, yeah, divorce, because there's no such thing. Christ even tells you right here. But from the beginning, it was not so, meaning it was never supposed to happen. Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, anyone who will say, leave, shalom, kick rocks, except it be for fornication. This is the only grounds for you to put away your wife, is fornication, which is an unlawful sexual act, regardless of what it is, whether she's becoming a lesbian, you know, whether I don't know, it's 2026. Y'all do all types of disgusting thing today. Any act of fornication. No, most of the time is sleeping with a man that is not you. That's the only way for you to put away the wife. Whosoever shall put away his wife, except to be for fornication, and shall marry another. If you decide because you're in love with another woman, so you're going to divorce her and marry another, you're disgusting and you're an adulterer. Committed adultery, and whoso married her which is put away doth commit adultery, right? This is one of the problems we face in our community. Our family's household are destroyed, you know, and we have the blueprint to fix it. We do. Y'all just don't want to fix it. Y'all like drama. Everybody likes drama. Y'all like drama, then you like to talk about one another. So y'all don't care. Y'all like what's these stupid shows again? Basketball and Housewives, or hip hop and basketball? I don't know. I'm not in tune with what's going on really like that. The point is this: y'all don't care about one another. Y'all really don't care about fixing a problem. That's why a lot of y'all, you know, you will get something that you know she will leave you. You will sleep with her knowing she will leave you like that. It's like, well, I didn't have a chance to fix it. She just left. You will sleep with a man, sis, that you know he ain't trying to build nothing with you. Therefore, I mean, there's nothing to fix. There was nothing to build in the first place, right? A lot of you have been conditioned to just do evil and thinking you won't be held accountable because you slept with an evil person. So you knew they were going to do you dirty. Well, if you knew, you still be held accountable. You would still be held accountable. You understand? You go to Matthew 18 and 15. Let's start with problem solving, right? If you have an issue with anyone, doesn't matter who it is, brothers between brothers, sisters, husband and wife, this is what you should do. Matthew 18 and 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, because before she's your wife, before he's your husband, y'all are the same people. Y'all are brother and sisters of the same nation, kindred, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. That's what Adam said. That's what Jacob said. You understand? Matthew 18 and 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. That is a staple of problem resolution in our community. That will fix families. That will fix, issues you have between brothers. That will fix issues you have between sisters, between spouses, between kids growing up. Damn. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. That's it. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. And y'all focus on the last part specifically. You're going to understand why. Focus on that last part where it says, thou hast gained thy brother. Just keep that in mind, right? Let's read the next verse. Verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, meaning anything else besides apologizing, right? If he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. What is that? That's what we call counsel. You understand? That's counsel. Take a brother, that's taking a brother or a sister to counsel, a spouse to counsel, your cousin to counsel. So bear with me 1 second. Salakia. You understand? But I want y'all to focus on the last part we just read. What is the last part we just read? Because a lot of people are fearing counsel, like, yo, I'm going to be blazed on counsel. Yo, you're just trying to, hurt me or not. You're trying to get a general blaze on me and things like that. Yo, the last part we just read is what? Is for you to gain your brother. I'm trying to resolve this issue. I'm not trying to be right, because let's say I take to counsel, I'm wrong. I need to know I'm wrong to make sure I don't wrong you again. Because what if I don't understand that I'm wrong? What if you don't understand you're wrong? You need to know. Maybe you're right, but I don't understand you're right. I need to understand you're right. Someone need to make me understand you're right. Conflict resolution is not about being right or wrong. It's about not resenting one another, not hating one another. If we never address the issue, especially right away, you know what's going to happen? We're going to start resenting one another. Satan is going to come in. You're going to be tempted to hate your brother, to hate your sister, to hate, your brothers and sisters that you grew up around with, right? To hate your spouse. You're going to walk away. You're going to go back to the world. You're going to go back to following these heathens. These heathens will have you hate one another while they have therapy sessions. The mafia has sit downs. They don't show you that part of the mafia. These made up sit downs they show in the movies, they don't show you that. They have certain conflict resolutions. The way they're dealing with it, though, is not the way you should deal with it. That's how you should deal with it. You go to the person that offended you. They hear you. No sweat. You gain the brother. You gain the sister. If not, you go to counsel. Not because you want to have them hurt, because you want to gain them. I don't want to lose my brother. That's why I have to go to counsel with my brother. I don't want to lose my sister. That's why I'm going to counsel with my sister. That's the mindset you should have when going to counsel. Not, you know what, you offended me and this. No, the purpose of counsel is to gain your brother, is to gain your sister, is to resolve conflict. That's why. That's all it's for. We're here to resolve conflict. Again, the class is called Problem Solvers. I probably have like 1,000 precepts. And I said I'm going to do a 2-3 part class. 1,000 precepts ain't going to be able to. So I'm giving you the most important part, which is this one. Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Anyone who offends you, the first thing to do is to go to them and them alone. They hear you, and you gain the brother. You gain the sister. They don't hear you, you go to counsel. Don't fear counsel. You should be glad to have a resolution to the problem. Imagine someone takes you to counsel at the end. You're the one who's right, and you just didn't want to go to counsel. Not a matter could have never been established that the person who offended you was actually wrong. You don't know how it's going to go. Don't assume things. In the UPK, you learn that not to assume anything. You make sure. You understand? We're not supposed to be like these other people. These other people, you know how conflict resolution it ends with? It ends with genocide. It ends with the French and the British trying to murder one another. That literally happened. The French and the Normans tried to murder one another for the longest time. Portugal had to separate from Spain. Portuguese are Spanish people. Y'all didn't know that? Like some Spanish clan that they made their own thing. That's all it is. That's their type of conflict resolution. Our conflict resolution ends up in gaining a brother or a sister. That's the point of going to one-on-one alone and just going to counsel. That's the point. We're not supposed to be like them. If we're like them, that's why our families are separated. Why? Because we look after their ways of resolving conflict, which is running away from it. What the white men do? The white man kill his wife, the children, the dogs, the cats, and the fish, and then kills themselves, burns down the house. How is he fixing the problem? He's burning it down to the ground. In our household, we fix the holes in the wall. We fix the foundation. The foundation is right here. That's the Bible. That's the laws, the statutes, the commandments, which helps us fixing the walls with the right beams, the right gyprock. What else? The right thing. What's it called again? The right plaster, the right paint, the right sanding paper. What are all these? All these are tools and items that you could find in the Bible. Is these scriptures right there, these instructions, going to council, following the laws. Listen, I talked to a sister, I think yesterday, a couple days ago, right? She kept asking, yo, this Proverbs 31 on how to be a good woman and whatnot. What are the instructions on how to be a good man? I can't find these in the Bible. Yeah, that's because you're not reading. It's there. There's one of the instructions in being a good man. Listen, you have an issue with your spouse, yo, y'all go to counsel, man. You know, you don't divorce her. That's how you know you're a good man. Regardless of what she does, if it's not fornication, you don't divorce her. You have to keep her. You slept with a dragon, you're going to have to learn how to tame that dragon. You know, you're going to have to figure it out. She's the problem. You're going to have to fix that problem, man, just like you will fix a car. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. See, we're not taught to fix problems. We're taught to run away from problems in our community. And that is the problem. It's what we're here for. We fix problems. We're problem solvers. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 36. I said 36 and 24. Ecclesiasticus 36 and 24. He that getteth a wife, Salakia, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. Just like you would fix a car, just like you would fix your Xbox, you would fix your place, you would fix your phone if you break the screen. You mean you can't fix that woman? You would fix your phone if you break your screen. You can't fix your family. You see the problem? You see what the problem is? You get like, do I have to break this down? It says that you know, it compares the wife, I think is in chapter 26, to a fruitful possession, like a field. You know what a field is? Like a farm. You know what you call a man that's a farmer? A husbandman. Right, because he's going to tend to the farm. He's going to tend to his wife like he tends to a field. He's going, if there's a problem on the field, there's a problem with the family, he has to fix it like there's a problem on the field. There's a roach problem. He's going to fix it. There's a, you know, critters. He's going to fix that problem. There's an irrigation problem. He's going to make sure the field is watered properly. There's nutrients. He's going to nourish it, going to make it flourish. Well, just like that car, you make sure that car is tuned up the right way. There's an oil change. You know, the brakes are up to par, right? Everything is good. It's the same thing with your family, man. It's your family that you're going to have to fix. You know, that's how it is. Listen, all these instructions we have is to fix our family, to fix our people. Because, listen, watch. The moment you fix the family, you're going to be able to fix the community. You're going to be able to fix the nation. How do we do that, though? How do we do so? That's the problem. A lot of y'all aren't able to identify problems. Y'all think, oh, it's just, you know, here's a crack in the wall or something like that. That crack in the wall is a hole that will get bigger and bigger until the wall falls apart. And you could have just fixed that if you address the problem right away. That's the spirit of Matthew 18 and 15, by the way. When there's a problem, address it right away. You understand? Don't let the sink start leaking until you see it was getting rusty from the inside and then it finally broke down. Now you have to replace the whole thing. No, fix it right away. You see a leak, you address the leak right away. You see a crack in the wall, you check it right away. You know, don't let it get worse. That's the point. There's an issue, you address it right away, man. Well, it's like your kids. You see your kid is not doing well at school, you address that right away. You don't know what's going on. Now, by the time you find out what's going on, the kid has probably been, you know, through some traumatic experience at school, but you never address it. You thought you were just having a bad day. Yo, check on your kids, man. Check on your kids. Check on your brothers. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick, right? We need to check on one another more, man, because you never know. Let me get that real quick. Ecclesiasticus. Again, this is the Brotherhood class. We're here to fix our families. We're here to fix one another. You know, it says we are one body. One body is what? Listen, your hand, your fingers, your heart, your leg, it's all part of one body. You know what they do? They work together. That's what they do. Let me get that precept real quick. Give me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. Ecclesiasticus 37:6. Let me get that real quick. Again, questions, comments, y'all put it in the chat, whatnot. I said 37:6 or 36:6. Yeah, Ecclesiasticus 37:6, man. Yeah, I'm having these technical difficulties. Salakia. Ecclesiasticus 37:6. Forget not thy friend in thy mind. Yo, check on one another, man. Call a brother. Y'all sisters, call a sister, man. Just make sure, yo, are you okay? Everything's fine. What's going on with the kids? You know, y'all never did that before. Y'all have friends that y'all check upon in the world to find out if they have weed so y'all could get high together. Y'all call your friends to see if y'all could go buy a horse together. Y'all call on each other to make sure y'all die together. That's crazy. How about you make sure y'all live together? How about you make sure y'all be able to enjoy life together? How about that? Yo, you need anything? You're too up. Yo, I heard your father's sick. Is he good? You know, y'all need anything? No sweat. I'm just making sure, man. You know, we have heat waves going around the globe. You call your brothers, listen, in France, in the UK, throughout Europe. Yo, you see what? Yo, listen, I've seen a heat wave, I think it's in Arizona. Shopping carts are melting. Check up on your brothers, man. It ain't, yo, it's a 30-second phone call. Say, yo, you Tawab, I see you got a crazy heat wave. Yo, make sure you got an AC. You know, if you're doing better than the brother or the sister that you're calling, yo, hey, listen, you need some change to buy an AC or something like that. Y'all good? The kids good? All right, no sweat. I'm just checking on you. You know, that's it. It could be a 30-second call, man. We're not taught to love one another. The only thing we're taught to do in our oppressor society is conflict. We're taught to start conflict and to keep it going. It's like it. Never to resolve it. That's what we're taught to do. That's why y'all don't know how to raise kids right. Your kids only know how to continue conflict and never have it resolved because they see you start some shit and never resolve it. They see you arguing at the family table and ready to bust each other across the head. That's what it is. They see you ready to do that, and then they grow up to be emotional. They grow up to be ratchet. They grow up to be YNs. Why? Because they see you as a ratchet and a grown-ass YN. That's a fact. They see a grown man. I seen the post. Her sister was asking, yo, some nigga from Memphis got his car shot up. And she said in the comments, I seen that early today on Facebook. She said in the comment, yo, why is this nigga still acting like a YN? This nigga's like 56 years old, getting your car shut up, dressing like a YN and everything. I said, damn, you're 56? Nigga don't look 56. I understand black don't crack, but so damn, I don't even know what to tell you. You know? I don't even know what to tell you at this point. The point is this: without this wisdom, this knowledge that is found in the Bible, we're just going to pull real quick, Deuteronomy 4, right? We're doomed to fail. Why? Because if we don't observe our culture, we observe someone else's culture. In every other culture, it's all about conflict with no resolution. The Muslims, you could tell being a Muslim is not a solution. How? The Muslims are divided within themselves. You have on one side the Shia Muslims. You have on another side, what's the other side of the Muslim? The Sunni Muslims. I think Iran has another sect of Muslims. Let's see how many type of Islam there is. You know, let's see. Damn, I didn't even know. There are what, 3 types of Muslims, 4 types of Muslims? I didn't even know. People would think it's just, first of all, just the fact that there is already 2 sides of Muslims should tell you this is not the solution. You understand? Let me zoom in a bit, right? They're just the largest branches. So besides Sunni and Shia, the 2 largest branches of Islam, there are other smaller sects and subgroups, most notably the Ibadi Muslims. Additionally, both Sunni and Shia contain distinct meaning different, internal schools of thought, while Sufism represents a mystical dimension practiced by Muslims across various branches. Good night. Mystical dimension is crazy. So Ibadism is the 3rd major branch of Islam alongside Sunni and Shia. Ibadism, however you pronounce it, practiced primarily in Oman. Let's keep going. Sunni subdivisions. Sunni Islam, which makes about 85% of Muslims worldwide, is unified in its core beliefs, but divided in 4 main schools of jurisprudence. It's called the madhab. Yo, even one branch of Islam is already divided in 4 branches within itself. Come on, man. You can't tell me that's a solution when they all have division. Listen, I understand. If you are a fake Israelite, you are a Muslim. If you are a fake Israelite, you are a Muslim. That makes perfect sense. That's why these purple cats are what? They're the Nation of Islam or something. It makes perfect sense. You have so many subdivisions of breakoffs within one religion that they claim to be the truth. You know, that's how you know it's not the truth. What's the truth? The Lord's statutes and commandments that the Lord gave to the children of Israel, nothing else. That's your wisdom. Without the wisdom, you're going to fail. You didn't even know which branch of Islam or sub-branch of Islam to adhere to. Let's get to it. Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. This is what we should do everywhere we go. Everywhere. You know, this is how we solve conflicts, how we fix families. How? Because we have these laws, statutes, and commandments. We're going to see that this is called our wisdom. Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. What did we read earlier in Psalms 14 and 1? The wise woman, wise, which is the root word of wisdom. If you are wise, then you have wisdom. What is the wisdom? The laws, statutes, and commandments, and the judgments that goes with breaking these laws, statutes, and commandments. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding. That why? There is a solution to the conflicts that we go through. These people will never help us resolve our conflicts. They create the conflicts to destroy us. Why would they try to solve, something that they use against us as a weapon of mass destruction? Having our oppressor solve our conflicts is like having our oppressor remove drugs from our neighborhoods that he put there in the first place. It doesn't make sense. He put these drugs in our neighborhoods to kill us. Why would he remove them? He poisoned the waterways to kill the Native Americans. Why would he give them clean water? You understand? He made it so that Mexicans are illegal immigrants. Why would he give them legal status? Everything he does or he sets in place is to destroy us. Ain't no way for our oppressor to resolve our internal conflicts if he made it so that we could destroy ourselves in his name as opposed to him destroying us. He don't have to dirty his hands no more. That's the whole point. So what is our solution? Turning back to the Lord, man. What is it? We read it 2 weeks ago. Turning back to the Lord. Getting our wisdom back. What is our wisdom? It's not in the Quran. It's not in Christianity. When I mention Christianity, because Christianity, Catholicism, all these different branches of Catholicism have nothing to do with the Bible. It's not in Buddhism, Hinduism, like the Rastafarians smoke all the ganja worshiping Shiva. It's in these laws, statutes, and commandments. This wisdom that was only given to the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes, who happen to be the so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. No one else. You understand? Read it again. Deuteronomy 4:6. Keep therefore and do them. For this is your wisdom and understanding. That's our wisdom. That's how you know we're wise. That's how you know we have understanding, because we follow the blueprint, which is the Bible, the law, the statutes, the commandments. That's in the Bible, nowhere else. In the sight of the nation, these nations know, listen, there's no divisions among us. Like in Christianity, Catholicism, like in Islam. Why? Because we have the wisdom of understanding that they don't. You understand? There is no such thing as Confucianism, whatever the Chinese worship, Buddhism, the Japanese geisha, or listen, they all worship dumb deities, right? We don't. We have moral codes. They don't. And they look at us like, damn, they're smart as hell. Like, imagine the Chinese looking at us like, yo, you know what? If we would have followed black people, maybe we wouldn't have spread COVID throughout the planet Earth by eating rats and bats. You understand? The Chinese looking at us like we're smart people because we know not to eat bat, rat, cat, dog, or anything that is unlawful according to the dietary law that you could find in Leviticus chapter 11. You understand? Let's keep reading. Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. How? Because we know not to divorce. Listen, if you become a Muslim, you know you will become a whore, right? Y'all don't know that? It's in the Quran. If you divorce, right? In the Quran, if you divorce your wife, you cannot remarry her unless she has been married with 2 other men before getting back with you. That's whoredom. Listen, if you have a wife, according to Israelite culture, which is in the Bible, the moment she sleeps with another man, she's a whore. Ain't no taking her back. You understand? Adultery is punishable by death. It's your blood shall be upon you. That's what it says. You understand? Salakia. 1 second. What's going on? There you go. You understand? But in Islam, it says, yo, you leave your wife. She could go marry someone else twice before she comes back to you. That promotes whoredom. You're not gonna find it what in Hinduism. Don't all these spiritual gurus sleep with your women before she has like some enlightenment in her mind or whatever nonsense they say? Who cares? They don't have the solution. They don't. The solution is right here, wisdom. Where you get the wisdom? In the Bible. You understand? Let's keep reading. Verse 7. For what nation is there so great? Mean what? There is no greater nation than yours. Who had God so nigh unto them? That's how I know the God of the Bible is a racist. How? Because there is no other nation whose God is so close to. No one. I think it's Amos, what, 3 and 2? God said he only knows the nation of Israel amongst every single families of the earth. He don't know nobody else. You look at them like, who are you? I don't know you. I don't give a damn what you do. Just don't touch my people. I don't know who you are, man. Just do what you do. You understand? That's it. Let me deal with my people. I'm gonna not deal with you though. Just know that. There is no nation that has God next to us, next to them like us. Right? As the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for. Verse 8, and what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law? It's like, it's unfathomable for them. Like, yo, they're really not eating rat. They really are smart. They don't eat snails. They don't, they sleep with their women and they stay with them for life. Damn. How about we look at how about they become a light to us? Becoming a light, the Israelites are the light to the Gentiles. How about we are a light to them and we guide them out of the darkness that they were brought up in? How about that? Because they see that we have wisdom. They see that we're a smart nation. They see that ain't no nation like us. That's what it says right here. There is no nation like the nation of Israel. You understand? Let's keep reading. Salakia. I have to fix computer technical difficulties. Verse 9. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently. That's why, listen, you're going to have to focus on them laws, man. On the laws, the statutes, the commandments, diligently to make sure you don't die. Make sure you'll be able to resolve these conflicts that we're unable to resolve. Lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen. You're gonna leave. That's a twofold scripture, right? Salakia. Why? Because this also talking about leaving the truth. This is about not having the truth within you. You're gonna forget everything that you've seen, such as families being united. You've never seen families being united before. You've never seen conflict resolution in your life. You've seen that in the truth only. You've never seen a power that delivered you out of Egypt by sending frogs and plagues and killing the firstborn. You decided to leave, to turn your back on the Lord. Now you forget all about that. You forgot all about brotherhood once you leave the truth. You understand? And lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. Man, listen, it's horrible outside the truth. We brought this out, last time? It's beautiful, so beautiful to be in the truth. You don't know how beautiful it is to be in the school, man. You don't know. You will remember. You see how it says you only realize that you lost something good once you lost it. You only realize how good something was once you don't have it no more. Yeah, that's y'all. That's us leaving this wisdom. It's like there was a time when we were united. There was a time when we had conflict resolution. There was a time. And you'd be reminiscing about that. Now, where did we go wrong? We went wrong when we stopped following the Lord. That's when we went wrong. You understand? We started doing all manner of sin. And that's where we went wrong. All these things, we will forget about all the good things. Now we're all going to see is oppression for the days of our lives because we decide to be like everyone else. And everyone else do not know how to resolve conflicts. They divide themselves even further. You know, they have whoredom. There is no protection for their people. All they have is false hope. And that's that, and really because we're the only hope for the whole planet Earth. But we follow into people that are hopeless. What do we become? We become hopeless too. Let's get brain. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. That's how you're going to raise up your children. With that wisdom that you hang on to, that you never let go of. That's how you're going to be able to raise families, to raise a people, to fix a people the right way. Not the way you were taught to do. Not at all. Why? Because you're taught to be a monster. You're taught to be a wife beater. Why? Because the white man was a wife beater. That's why. You sisters are taught to be whores. Why? Because the white woman is a whore. And you follow after your oppressor. You are not taught to resolve conflict. You are taught to evade it. If you don't know how to resolve conflict, the moment you're into another conflict, what you're going to do? Evade it again, evade it again, evade it again, until you can't evade it no more. You're going to have to address the problems to be able to fix it. Or else what happens? You're going to die. Why? You can't fix the hole in that wall to the left, the hole in the wall to the right, the hole in the wall in the ceiling. There's a hole on the floor. There's a leak everywhere. You know, you lose power. It's like you don't fix your teeth. All your teeth are rotten or whatnot. If you don't address the issue right away and there's more issues, it's like a tumor. You don't address it right away, guess what happens? The tumor grows and grows and grows. That's a cancer, man. That is there to kill you, whether it's the demons you have inside, whether it's the issue you have with someone that make demons arise or whatnot. All these are issues that needs to be addressed right away. All these conflicts that we have, these internal conflicts, whether it's the Haitians, Dominicans, spouses, brothers between each other, sisters between each other, if we don't resolve our conflict, we could never, ever start building our houses the right way. Why? You're gonna fight one another while trying to build a house. Because you learned that from your oppressor. That's the point. You're going to have to stop following after these oppressors so we could start building our house with the proper foundation, which is the Bible. That is our blueprint. That is the knowledge that we have in the sight of the nations. And all these nations know how to overtake us, how to, put us in the abyss, that our name shall be no more remembrance. I'm just paraphrasing Psalms 83. They know how to be crafty with us and how to deal with us wisely. They know how to be cunning. They know how to operate around us. They make us feel like, oh, we're all brothers because we're all melanated. The Africans still oppress you despite being melanated. The Arabs do the same. The East Indian do the same. And they're all set in place to be able to oppress you right under the white man. You understand? That's every single nation. And they know you are the real biblical Jews. And the only way that you're able to get yourself out of that bottomless pit is if you go back to serving the Lord. That is your light. That is your wealth. Right? It says, let me get this real quick, right? Before you end the class. Give me 1 second. Is it Revelation? To Revelation 2 and 9. There you go. The book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulations and poverty, But thou art rich. You know what? Because we're rich in spirit, man. What's our spirit? What's our vibe? What's our wealth? The Bible. It says the Bible, our laws, our statutes and commandments is more precious than the finest gold, is more precious than honey. Keep bringing this out every time. Yo, honey do not go bad. The law abides forever, and honey is one of the most precious food on the planet. Literally, it never goes bad. Then that's how we're rich, because those laws is our wisdom, is our knowledge. We just read it. Something that never goes bad, that abides forever. You understand? I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. The point is, we're rich spiritually because we still have the laws, we have the statutes, we have the commandments, something that will always be there forever, right? And it will always be there forever. And we need to go back to it. That is the only way to be able to fix our people. Let me get this last book real quick. Bear me 1 second. Let me get this last book. We're going to end the class. Get ready for John Mahaiman's scripture breakdown. This is the book of James, chapter 1, and verse 5. Salak, give me 1 second. James chapter 1, verse 5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. The Most High will build up your spirit, man. If you lack wisdom, pray for more wisdom, man. Solomon, all he did was study wisdom. Solomon did everything under the sun, and he realized that the most important thing, really the only thing that matters, because everything is vexation of the spirit. Solomon had 1,000 women. Solomon went to party. Look, read the book of Ecclesiastes. You'll read about Solomon's lifestyle, man. Solomon was the richest man on earth. He built gardens, houses. He had wives, concubines. Solomon had parties, man. Solomon had, you think you turned up before. Solomon had parties. Guys, everything is vexation of the spirit, and the only thing that matters is following the law. Is it Ecclesiastes 12 and 13? That's the only thing that matters, man. If you don't know, you know what you should do? You should seek counsel. Seek counsel. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that give it to all men liberally, and upbraid it not, and it shall be given him. The Lord will build up your spirit, man. If that's what you want, if that's what you're striving for. You don't just strive to be rich. Try to just have women, because even if you have women, you're going to need to know how to deal with them. You're going to need to know wisdom on how to deal with them. You're going to need to know wisdom on how, to spend or make that money. You want a family, you're going to need to have wisdom to know how to deal and how to raise that family properly. What happens if you lack wisdom, though? If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that give it to all men liberally, and upbraid it not, and it shall be given him. The Lord will build your spirit, man. If that's what you're striving for, more wisdom, which is only found in the Bible. The Lord will give you the wisdom, man. The Lord will teach you how to solve these problems. The Lord will teach you how to resolve these conflicts. The Lord will help you raise up your zone and raise up these soldiers. You understand? And build up these families. Just pray and ask for that wisdom, man. And come to class where you will get the wisdom. Listen, we're the answer to your prayer. We're giving you the wisdom right here, right now. That's all you got to do. You understand? With that, so we're going to end the class right here. We'll do a part 2 next week. Damn, so we have barely touched the surface. We'll end this class right here. We get the security announcements. Y'all make sure y'all get ready for John Mahaiman's scripture breakdown on One West online classes on YouTube. Come ask all your questions. Bring all your problems. Get the solution to everything and the answers to everything that you inquire about. With that said, I'm priest and officer of 500 Barak Yellow with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant John YAHANNA. Right, we'll get the security announcements, and we will see you next week, Israel. Shalom. It's a lot here. Here's the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10 means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation. Coming up, we have the memorial of blowing of trumpets, which will be the first day of the 7th month, which falls on Friday, September 11, 2026. You can read more about it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminder to all Akim and Wa'akwathian, to all brothers and sisters, to check the bulletin board in the hallway of the school if they have a physical location. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf, well, that's how we give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Menavision al-Majam, which means to stand, we'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Menavision al-Majam, Majam Shabbat, Majam, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Brakatam, meaning Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai bless y'all. Yajamata, which means hands down. Sar, which means to turn. Turn and visit sisters. We'll give them a courtesy salute as well. Menavision al-Majam Shabbat, Majam, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Alathan Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, meaning Yahweh watch over y'all in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yajamata, class dismissed. Let's see the scripture breakdown, Israel. Shalom.
We have a gift that nobody can see, that was handed over to us to do something amazing. Take the gift, man. Take the gift. Take the gift, man. And let the Most High work in you to do something you have never believed.
I ain't even impressed what you expect. You see this shit? Hold on. There's 1 West on my chest.
1 West world. That's it.
Fucking street code, little priest law. No stain, great Dane with the leash off. I ain't nothing of this world, I need a respawn. I just know they wish that I would stop, but I keep going. These fringes on my calf like a tube sock. I used to stuff the loose ones in my shoebox. And we came a long way from the curbside. Now we looking from the top from a bird eye. And I can't leave my brother on the battlefield. Lord, let the hell rain, we gon' see who real. And you know they gon' hate when they see a plate. So imagine what they doing for a $250,000. And we really the only ones going to war. You niggas just be talking like y'all won the war. I made love to this truth and there's no divorce. My Spanish mommy call me Poppy like a corner store. Let me show you how to do it. City living by the word, I think it's time he proved. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And save the acting for the camera, this is not a movie. I pray to God I don't fall off. I ain't nothing like y'all. Niggas think they slime, cut their head off a python. Blame me for my outlook, never counted the lookouts. The world said I wasn't shit, but look how I turned out. Not so bad, huh? Why you mad, huh? We go hard, but go harder for the have-not. Listen, when that oil hit your leg, then you can't stop. Your feet better hit the ground running, this shit bedrock. Man, we tried to put him on, but he sleep. Waking up the people, that's the job for a priest. Hopped out the wheel, fringes swinging like a pendulum. You heard of the tribes? Where the fuck you think they get it from? Look, I'm a soldier, get the order, then I get it done. Got some big shit to split the water, make these niggas run. Why you hurt? If I told the truth, then I showed you love. Let me prove it. Wanna move right? Let me show you how to do it. Let me show you how to do it. City living by the word, I think it's time he proved. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And say the acting for the camera, this is not a movie.
Don't step over the line though. Everybody, anybody, it's up for everybody. And that's not even, I got bigger fish to fry. I got people to say it. I ain't even on a rap, so I already beat the rap shit.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're